This video is a brief description and introduction of how to use Echinata, which is a timber decision support system within Excel for shortleaf pine plantations in the Southeastern US. And the data comes largely from the highlands of Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, but nonetheless we can infer whether they're applicable to areas in the Western Gulf or the western half of the Southeastern US, such as Mississippi or Louisiana or Oklahoma or Texas or Arkansas. So within here you'll see you have various sheets at the bottom. There's introduction and then growth and yield. Here you'll enter a site index, base age 25, number of trees planted per acre, your interest rate, merchantability specs for 3 product classes, but basically these are just nomenclature. There's no real applicability to pulpwood per se. It's just a descriptor. So you could put instead of pulpwood, you can consider it biomass if you wanted to and change those specs. But there's basically 3 product classes. Then your pounds per cubic foot, lower stem, upper stem. Do you want to have top wood on your chip and saw log trees? Do you want to buy and sell in tons or cubic feet? And if you do, make sure you adjust the stumpage revenues here for pulpwood, chip and saw log, and then pulpwood, or I should say upper stem pulpwood or topwood. And then here's your growth and yield projections or predictions, your MPV per acre, your soil expectation value, land expectation value, your bare land value, your age from seed, dominant height, trees per acre, quadratic mean diameter, basal area per acre. And then we can go across and you get into your total cubic foot volume, your tons per acre, your merchantable tons or cubic foot depending on your options that you select, and then your revenue per acre for those product classes. And then we can come to management cost and revenues, and here you can enter in the cost for various reforestation, site preparation activities. You can have herbaceous weed control treatments, other management costs such as property taxes, other management costs such as perhaps fire lane construction or maintenance, and then management revenues such as say carbon credit revenues or hunting leases. And then you can enter in your cost per thousand seedlings, whether bare root or container. And then if you do have some additional costs, say for instance, you're purchasing seedlings from Georgia to plant in Mississippi, what's those additional costs? And then your cost per seedling to plant. And it should come over here, and here's your total discounted reforestation cost. Now one thing I forgot to mention is projections start at age 10. And then here's prescribed burning costs. This is kind of included here to help folks understand that the shortleaf pine ecosystem is a fire-dependent ecosystem, and you can conduct fires before age 10, but the black kind of helps you realize that you probably shouldn't be doing prescribed fires in shortleaf pine plantations until probably age 10 or later. And there's no real direct response to the understory vegetation or the overstory growth and yield, the shortleaf pine planted growth and yield. But nonetheless, it can give you a chance to kind of learn about this for certain people, as well as the economics or financial impacts associated with conducting these burns. And here's your stand level trajectories through time for the variables that us foresters consider to be very important. And then here's your diameter distributions, and you can enter in for 3 ages. Here they're all together for whatever ages you enter. Here's age 10, 20, and 30, and I could change this to 35 if I want. And pulpwood is black, chip and saw is red, and gray is saw timber. And then I could change this to 25 if I want. And so you can see here by year, by age, and then they're all 3 together. And then this allows you to do after taxes financial assessments on the reforestation. At this time I don't have basis and long-term capital gains or taxes owed on harvesting activities, as well as the capitalizing or expensing, say, of property taxes or other costs associated with operational management activities or carrying costs. And of course that's going to depend on whether you're a business, an investor, hobby, so that may come with time. But nonetheless, you can learn about the federal reforestation tax deduction and amortization incentives, and then Mississippi has the very unique tax credit, the reforestation tax credit. and it's 0 right now, but you can enter 1 if you want either of those, and then without getting too lengthy, you have to enter in any cost shares, because you can't, in a sense, double dip. You can't get a cost share to offset your reforestation costs and then get a tax benefit from that same amount of reforestation costs that you already offset from the cost share. So here's your federal tax benefit for your qualified reforestation activities in year 0, and we can scroll down and you can see that there's your amortization, here's your deduction, and then your amortization. And you can deduct up to $10,000 annually for reforestation costs incurred in that tax year. And then here's your reforestation benefit for year 1 federal, and then year 2, and then here's your reforestation benefit for the state of Mississippi for the reforestation tax credit. And remember, this tax credit only offsets income tax liability. So I've talked with some folks that are retired and they really didn't have any income tax per se, revenue that they were being taxed on. So therefore there's really nothing to offset. So therefore the tax credit really doesn't help them. But it's very important that it only offsets income tax liability. And then down here you can, based on interpretation of the code, you can, for any cost incurred above what you're receiving credit for, the tax credit, you should be able to deduct those in that year. And that's what this component down here is about as well. And the income tax may go away in Mississippi, so that may create problems for this tax credit. Right? If there's no income tax, there's no real reason to have a tax credit to offset income tax liability. And then you can do grazing, you can do carrying capacity, and there's a lot here as well. And this is much of this is self-explanatory, and then you can get the amount of carbon estimated in tree boles. So as I said, everybody, this is just kind of an introduction to this timber decision support system, and there most certainly will be issues, I imagine, perhaps miscalculations or something I misinterpreted or didn't say clearly or correctly. But I'm hoping that this will help people learn more about shortleaf pine plantations and provide a much needed timber citizen support system for areas where shortleaf pine is planted. Thank you.